So today we're taking a look at the Hurran lead-free kitchen sink faucet, and we're gonna do this setup a little bit different. So I'm not really in a kitchen, but I do have a kitchen sink right here, and this is a wash station that we have at our small farm. Now, I had a hose coming up there that we could set from the ceiling and stuff. It was becoming a little bit of a pain. Now, essentially, we have our wash station here for washing your hands, and then you bring it over here and you can wash off your vegetables, things like that. And you don't want this obviously touching the ground, so having a faucet that has a pull would be a lot easier. So let's go ahead and see actually what comes in the box. They do have a few different colors, and the sprayer does have a few options here. So we got our install guide, some packaging. So then everything else is pretty much all set. You got your lines, you got your weight here. That's gonna bring the sprayer back down into position. Now this looks really nice. What I liked about it, not only was the finish, but it also has a good height to it, where some of these sprayers are somewhat low and really not that big of a fan of that. And then it also comes with the base plate here. So if you have like a try opening or something, it will cover up those other holes since you don't need to use them. So that's everything that comes in the box from what I can see here. Let's just double check, nothing underneath. Nope, because we're gonna unscrew that and put the weight around the piece that will pull the handle back in, which is this piece here, as well as right here. So now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna set it in place. We're gonna tighten it down. It should be pretty straightforward. Now, because I'm using normal garden hoses, I do have to convert it. So I use these little converters right here. So it will go from the garden hose size down to the size of a normal sink faucet. I think they're dishwasher connectors. That's essentially what they are. And they work really well for what we need it for. Let's go ahead and get this all set up.
So again, here is the unit itself, pretty straightforward, everything we need. Hanging down just a little bit there. I will say this is plastic, this is not metal, this top piece, so just keep that in mind. That is definitely metal there, but this part is not.
It will also unscrew, so if you ever needed to replace it, you could do that. But I would really like to see that being some type of metal that kind of conforms to this. So that's all right there. For our needs will be fine. Now we need to just unscrew this stuff here. All right, so now we're gonna take that piece there, that all the way up. Good.
Once you have that hand tightened in place, you can come back and tighten it down with a wrench, but then snug it up with the screws. Here is the weight that will pull the sprayer back into place and keep it in the faucet when it's not pulled out. This was really easy to install as well, with just a few screws to open it up, place on the water line where it works best, and then screw the two pieces back down nice and tight.
So right there is the Hurran lead-free kitchen sink faucet with the pull-down sprayer. Works really good. Put the weight on it. So installing this was pretty simple and straightforward. I mean, just on this setup took maybe 10 minutes to do. If you're doing it on a brand new setup or anything like that, it may take you a little bit longer. But for my setup out here on the wash sink, it is going to be great. I love that we can pull it down. Keeps us off the ground, obviously, so we don't have to worry about any of that type of contamination. The water pressure seems really great. And you'll see there, so I got water coming on this side here. But then because I don't have a hot or a Y splitter underneath, we're not getting anything, of course. Not a big deal. I'm probably going to get a Y splitter and then use the same brass fitting. It's not going to be hot, but at least we'll have cold water on both sides. So you see the cold water, got a good spray for that. We have that right there. This is the stream. And you can also, you got the stream right there. I guess that's the sweep and that's the spray. The spray's pretty good. I like that. And then I can pull that down. That's really the length that I set it to, but you could obviously go more. And the color is just really great. It's I guess almost like a matte black. It's not super shiny, but it does have a really nice color. This would look great in the kitchen for sure. And like I mentioned, they do have other colors as well. But overall, it is a really nice and inexpensive setup. The only thing I would like to see is this being metal and not plastic, but you could always replace it if it did crack or break. But overall, I think this is a really nice setup that's budget friendly and something that may work for you as well.